A-Man say man, this is your boy A-Man. Ooh, this is the first official video of this channel, and this video is on the first overall pick of the 2026 NBA draft, in which by others projected to be one of the best draft classes of all time, in Dybantsa. This kid coming out of BYU or even coming out of high school was regarded as a special player from the get-go. He is 6'10" with a near 7 feet wingspan, a 8'10" standing reach, but he is freakishly athletic, along with the ability to handle the ball and moves like Chris Paul, which is just uncommon for most forwards, along with the ability to score in all three levels, and most especially with his physical stature along with his athleticism and quickness. He has the ability to become a high-level defensive player if he really works on that. So you have a freakishly athletic 6'10" forward who can run an offense, can score from all three levels, along with his ability to create constant rim pressure, and has the potential to be a great two-way player with his abilities and stature. It's pretty straightforward that Dybantsa was chosen as the #1 overall pick, even though there were legit arguments for the other guys to be the #1 overall pick. Dybantsa from day one was a consensus #1 pick from the get-go. So in this video, I'm finna explain why Dybantsa will be a superstar in the NBA sooner rather than later. But first, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel for more NBA content I put out. Smash the like button and turn on post notifications. It makes a big difference for the growth of this channel. That out of the way, stay tuned, and let's continue on this video. So Dybantsa throughout his high school career was viewed as a very special prospect, and he was the best player in the nation pretty much his whole high school career. After an insane freshman year at St. Sebastian in Massachusetts, major recruiting outlets such as ESPN, 24/7 Sports, Rivals instantly put him as the #1 player in his class. By the summer of 23, which 3 years ago, everyone openly agreed that he was the best high school prospect in the world, outranking everyone older than him too, even when he reclassified up to a full year in the 2025 class to fast track his path to the NBA. He immediately took over as the #1 player in that class, too. Every blue blood school threw themselves at him. When he narrowed his list down to schools like Alabama, Kansas, North Carolina, and BYU, the sweepstakes felt like an actual NBA free agency frenzy. There were multiple rumors of him getting offers of massive multi-million-dollar NIL deals backing up the truck just to land his commitment for a single season. Eventually, he went with BYU, and at this school, he put up one of the greatest freshman seasons ever collegiately. He led the nation in points per game with 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a block per game, while shooting 51% from the field, 33% from 3, and 77% from the charity stripe. Dybantsa is one of the most natural, polished scoring prospects to enter the league in years. He featured an advanced package of crossovers, jab steps, and safety hesitation moves that allow him to get a shot off whenever he wants. His elevation on his mid-range, pull-ups, and step back makes it nearly impossible for a defender to contest. Not just that, but he generates so much rim pressure, attacks the paint with aggression, absorbing contact with his well-built 217-pound frame, and utilizing his impressive second jump to finish above the rim. And also, he has the basketball IQ to deliver certain reads towards his teammates. He reads defensive rotations really well out of the pick and roll, routinely finding cutters or kicking out to open shooters when double teams collapse on him. Although there are so many strengths of his game to point out of, there are some weaknesses that needs to be addressed. Defense hasn't been a strong suit because he puts in so much effort on offense, but on defense he lacks the effort nor the discipline and the IQ to be an effective defender. And I think it's very visible given how athletic and quick he is for his size, especially for his lateral quickness. If he has the right coach that can fix the foundations on his defense, then I think he will be fine defending 1 through 5 in the NBA. And even on offense, even though he's a 3-level scorer, but from the 3-point shot is something to be a little bit concerned of, given how he is inconsistent from behind the arc. But his shooting mechanics are very transferable to the NBA because of how natural his shooting touch is. So, like defense, if you give him a very good shooting coach for him to improve on that area, he's most likely going to improve tremendously, just like on defense. At BYU, he had a 34% usage rate and was constantly forced to hit tough, highly contested off the dribble step backs as the shot clock expired. In the NBA, playing alongside threat creators who pull defensive attention, he will get significantly more catch and shoot look opportunities. With his mechanics, those will drop at a much higher clip. Speaking on the team that he'll be on, the Washington Wizards, not gonna lie, they have a very solid foundation and a team for Dybantsa to develop really well on. Washington has spent consecutive drafts stocking up on length, defense, and complementary playmaking. The one thing they lacked was a true number one high volume half court itching type guy, and Dybantsa completes the picture by matching perfectly with the distinct skill sets of their other foundational building blocks. They have guys like a Keyshawn George and Trey Johnson who can provide spacing and are perimeter threats, and both of them are young with high upside. Both of them shot a combined 37% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. When Dybantsa attacks the rim and draws help defenders, George and Johnson will be sitting on the perimeter waiting for easy kick-out passes because Dybantsa has the IQ to make those reads. I didn't even mention the most beneficial guy for his development, and that is Trae Young. Him being a multiple-time All-Star along with being one of the better passers in the league for quite some time, playing alongside Trae means AJ does not have to carry the load of initiating the offense every single possession. Trae's gravity pulls defenders way past the three-point arc. When Trae drives or run high pick and rolls, Dybantsa will find himself wide open on the weak side. For a player working on three-point consistency, getting catch and shoot looks from a playmaker like Trae is an absolute luxury. Then, of course, you get AD on your roster, having a multiple-time all-defensive force like AD anchoring the paint behind him is an ultimate safety net. If Dybantsa get blown out by a quick guard, AD is there to contest and erase the mistake. On offense, when Dybantsa handles the ball, he can effortlessly feed AD on dump-offs or high-low passes. Opposing defenses can no longer cheat and pack the paint against Dybantsa's drives because they cannot leave AD open near the rim. And then you get Chris Middleton, who in his career built on being a highly efficient 6'7" secondary scorer who can hit tough mid-range pull-ups, navigate screens, and lock in defensively on championship-level runs. He is the type of veteran AJ can study up close to master the art of the mid-range game, off-ball movement, and defensive positioning. I didn't even mention the likes of a Alex Shaw, who also creates rim pressure, has an inside-out game for a power forward, and is a solid defensive player overall with his ability to be a rim protector along with his ability to guard the perimeter. Another one to mention is Bub Carrington being a dynamic pick and roll partner for Dybantsa, and Bial Coulibaly, who is a 6'8" long athletic finisher who has defensive capabilities. Him and Dybantsa can run devastating lane combinations where both wings can handle, pass, or finish above the rim. I really believe that Washington will be a very competitive team in the tough Eastern Conference. Do I think there will be a playoff team? I don't think so, but they are definitely not going to be a pushover. With all this said, I believe that the pieces around him, I think that Dybantsa will be not only the potential front runner for the Rookie of the Year, but I really think that he will become one of the best players in the NBA in the next couple of years. The Wizards have built a roster that acts like a laboratory specifically designed to maximize his strengths and hide his temporary weaknesses while he develops. He doesn't have to carry the playmaking burden. Playing next to an elite distributor like a Trae Young and a high IQ young connector like a Bub Carrington means Dybantsa doesn't have to constantly create advantages out of nothing. With deep floor spacers like a Trey Johnson and Keyshawn George keeping the perimeter honest, Dybantsa will have wide open driving lanes. He won't be forced into these heavily contested late shot clock playouts he constantly had to take in college. He would get clean, rhythmic, cast and shoot looks that matched his textbook form. And plus, you couldn't ask for a better interior anchor than Anthony Davis and Alex Sarr. Eventually, the Wizards do need to draft a center sometime in the future, But as of right now, they both Anthony Davis and Alex Starr are really perfect to complement AJ Dybantsa's weaknesses because they erase mistakes at the rim. AJ can afford to take aggressive defensive risks. All of this is the reason why I believe that Dybantsa will be a superstar in the league a lot sooner rather than later. And honestly, the pieces around him are better suited compared to what Cooper Flag has to deal with right now, even last year in his rookie year. I think that Washington are primed to break out within the next couple of years, especially with Dybantsa on the helm. They have a core they can work with to build something a meeting, especially how dysfunctional the front office has been for the past decade, even in the John Wall era where they never got past in the second round of the playoffs. I will say that both AD and Trae Young, and same to be said with Chris Middleton and DeAndre Ayton, I think that these veterans will set the tone culturally and developmentally, especially with Dybantsa. But let's be honest, these guys simply don't match the timeline of the young core, especially in 5 years when most of these guys are in their primes. And yes, AD and Ayton will be busted for them as far as rim protection and lob threats, but eventually in a few years, they are likely going to be on other teams, maybe in less years. And eventually, they will need to draft a center to fully complete their core for the future. That said, I think that these veteran guys are very beneficial for not just Dybantsa's development, but for the other guys like a Bub Carrington, Alex Starr, Keyshawn George, Trey Johnson, to name a few. That said, I believe that this kid, AJ Dybantsa, will break the mold for this franchise, and let's see, maybe he can become an MVP, a perennial All-Star, an All-NBA player, and could bring a championship to Washington in over 50 years. In this era where there are 7 different champions in 7 years, that means that anybody have a chance to win it all unless you're the Clippers or the Kings. The early conclusion on AJ Dybantsa, especially with his summer league performances, is simple. He is exactly who the Washington Wizards thought he was. Through his first 2 games, the number 1 overall pick has looked every bit of a plug-and-play franchise cornerstone, completely shifting the energy surrounding the organization. Averaging 25 points across his first two contests, the efficiency numbers still show he's a 19-year-old rookie. He settles way too many tough, contested mid-range looks, and his three-point shot remains highly streaky. But what he has around him, I do see a world where he will take Washington higher than this franchise has been in a long time. So let's see. And that's pretty much the end of the video. Let me know on the comment section below on this kid. Will he be the front runner for the Rookie of the Year despite his competition in his draft class? Let me know, and be sure to subscribe for more content going forward and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of my new videos. And that's pretty much it. Stay litty. This is the main man, A-Man, sign out.